here tonight. We always have more business to take care of upstairs than we anticipate, so it just takes us just a minute to get ourselves organized. But I'd like to take an opportunity to welcome each and every one of you here in the audience and folks who are online to join us here on our December 2nd public board meeting of the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners. On behalf of my fellow board commissioners, I'd like to welcome you. I'll now read a roll call of the board to identify who's present and who may be virtual. Please identify yourself first before speaking for the record. I'll now go through the roll call. I'll now go through our roll call for this evening. Vice Chair Parker.
Vice Chair Parker present.
Thank you. Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Ames Messenger present.
Thank you. Commissioner Chicas Guzman, I believe is absent this evening. Commissioner Coy will be joining us shortly. Commissioner Esposito.
Commissioner Esposito present.
Thank you. Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay, present.
Thank you. Commissioner Mohammed will be joining us shortly. Commissioner Redding Lollinger.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Woodruff.
Thank you. Commissioner Simmons.
Simmons present.
Thank you. Commissioner Slater Harrington. She may be joining us a little bit later too, and I'm present this evening. Is there a motion to reopen tonight's meeting?
So moved, Kenyatta Bay.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay. Is there a second?
Second Esposito.
Thank you. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Redding Lollinger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
I'm just going to check for Commissioner Slater Harrington. I'm in favor. This motion passes. We'd now like to welcome up the JROTC from Benjamin Franklin High School for the presentation of colors. All of our board commissioners and audience stand.
Left turn, march. Color guard, hope. Precinct, on. Major Alvin Garrison, Benjamin Franklin High School, Country Mission Post Code. Thank you, sir. Order, on. Colors reverse, march. Color guard, hope. Precinct, on.
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, on. Post.
Cut.
Thank you so much. I want to thank Cadet Major Alvin Garrison, Cadet Captain Diana Reyes, Cadet First Lieutenant Joseph Cox, Cadet Private Justine Morris, Cadet Private First Class Oscar Borea, and Cadet Private Arcara Hines. Is there a motion to approve the prior open session minutes?
Parker.
Thank you. Vice Chair Parker, is there a second?
Second Esposito.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Ames Messenger.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Commissioner Coy. Not yet. Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Yes.
Commissioner Redding Mollinger.
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
And I'm in favor. This motion passes. Is there a motion to approve the closed session summaries?
So moved, Kenyatta Bay.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second Esposito.
Thank you. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed is not here just yet. Commissioner Redding Mollinger.
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
And I'm in favor. This motion passes. So once again, I'd like to welcome everybody to our December 2nd public board meeting. I just want to go through a couple logistical things for our audience this evening before I turn it over to the vice chair for a little bit more ceremonial things. So the Office of New Initiatives presented to the board the 26-27 annual review of school recommendations. In short, the annual review of schools is a collection of academic and professional recommendations from our staff, student families, and communities to review, discuss, plan, and implement the physical and programmatic developments within the district. During a series of board meetings and public feedback sessions, the board collaborates with all stakeholders to find ways that best foster student learning and professional growth. We'll discuss topics such as creating new traditional schools, relocating schools, changes to grade configurations, renewing contracts or charters for schools run by external operators, amending the 21st Century Buildings Program, and even closing schools. So the first of two hearings will be the Comar hearing and the annual review of schools on Thursday, December 11th at 5:30 p.m. The meeting is an opportunity for parents and staff to share feedback on the proposed annual review of school recommendations. This is one of two feedback sessions. The second one will be held in January. For more details on the annual review of schools, we ask that you visit our annual review website on City Schools website. We're also accepting public comment on that. Those can be written and you'll find the address on our City Schools website. I'd like to now turn it to the vice chair to lift up some of our ceremonial things.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm happy to see everyone today in this cold weather. So over the last month, my fellow commissioners ventured throughout the district to show support and to engage with stakeholders. So I'm gonna put a couple of my colleagues on the spot. Commissioner Mohammed and Commissioner Slater Harrington, who just joined us, attended Park Heights Academy for Mayor Scott's attendance challenge. Commissioner Slater Harrington, do you mind saying a couple words about that event?
It was fantastic. The school was just electrified and excited about earning that distinction of perfect attendance. My dear son was one of them. I was a proud parent.
Nice.
Told her. And the mayor really caused a lot of excitement, but also took intentional time with students to recognize them and their parents. And Dr. Santelises was wonderful and engaging as well.
Great, thank you so much. And then I'm going to turn it over and everyone look at the screen. We see some nice pictures from the events. I'm going to turn it over back to Chair Sally actually to talk about the Hampstead Hill Academy Community Circle and Restorative Pen.
So I want to thank the entire Hampstead Hill community for welcoming me out, just experience, what does restorative practices look like and the kind of investments that they've made as a school community to help work on issues, to help young people think about how they show up in school communities, how they work through celebrations, but also work through some of the hard discussions and conversations that need to transpire. I was honored to join both Mayor Scott and Governor Moore out at Hampstead Hill for the morning. It was a long morning, but it was a great opportunity to be in the circle in the community. Also Chief Perkins Cohen and our very own Dr. Santelises was there as well. So it's a great day. So thank you. I'll turn it back over to the Vice Chair.
All right, well, that is kind of the end of my comments for at this moment. I just would like to thank all the commissioners for heading out into the community, and I look forward to us visiting more schools and attending more events to come.
Great. Thank you so much. Is there a motion? We'll move forward to our approval of the employment and payroll and PEP and appeals for the evening. Is there a motion to appeal the PEP and quasi judicial matters?
So moved Esposito.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito. Is there a second?
Second, Scott Woodruff.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff. All in favor? Vice Chair Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Ames Messenger,
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito,
Yes.
Commissioner, just want to double check. Do we have Commissioner Coy online? Okay, all right. Commissioner Kenyatta Bay,
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed, not yet. Commissioner Redding Lollinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Woodruff, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Slater Harrington,
Yes.
and I'm in favor. This motion passes. I'll now turn it over to Dr. Santelises for CEO comment.
Great. Thank you so much, Chair Sally. First off, I do just want to give a huge shout out. I had the opportunity to visit Baltimore School for the Arts opera scenes this year, and I have to say it really was like a night at the opera. It was absolutely amazing. It was everything from Mozart and Puccini to Sondheim, and a rousing finale from the Broadway musical, The Color Purple. It really was a fabulous night. It was one of those moments where the stars of Baltimore really shone brightly. I also want to give a special shout out to the director of the voice program at BSA, under the leadership of Malicena Edwards. Robert Cantrell has been teaching 30 years at Baltimore School for the Arts, and he still does not miss a beat. I had an absolutely fabulous time, and even better, it was free. So it was a great job. Thank you to BSA. It was a great evening. And then next, I am very pleased, and this is one of the great parts about being CEO, is that I get the opportunity to recognize members of our city, of our Baltimore City schools family. And tonight I am pleased and frankly honored to recognize two women, both of whom have actually mentored me in different ways, but absolutely impactful ways while I have been CEO of City Schools. And I think even more importantly, they have truly devoted their professional lives to the cause of public education and the well-being of young people throughout Baltimore City. It is also an opportunity for me to say that both of these women are an important part of the history of education in the city of Baltimore. And I remember having conversations, ironically, with each of them at different times about how important it is going to be to document the history of education in this city, and even more specifically, the history of Black women in furthering the education of their communities throughout this history. And I'm trying to go slow so that I get through without breaking down a little bit, because these two women mean a great deal to me. And some may be surprised because they were both in leadership positions where I did not always agree with them, but I have always respected them and their dedication to the city and this profession. So first, I would like to invite Dr. Loretta Johnson to come forward, right up here, ma'am, while we gratefully acknowledge her accomplishments. And this is just a snippet. I could read a whole 4 pages of her career, but a couple of things. Dr. Loretta Johnson started her career in 1966 as a teacher's aide in a Baltimore City elementary school, earning $2.25 an hour and receiving no benefits. To improve that situation, she subsequently organized paraprofessionals into the Baltimore Teachers Union. In 1970, Dr. Johnson negotiated the union's first contract and went on to serve as president of the BTU's paraprofessional chapter for 35 years. I also want to acknowledge Marietta English, who was our president and running buddy during part of that time. Dr. Johnson also went on to serve as vice president of the American Federation of Teachers for 30 years and received the Albert Shanker PSRP Pioneer Award. She has lectured and taught not only in Baltimore City, but professionals from as far away as Australia and New Zealand and as close by as Washington, D.C. She has had the honor of being in the presence of more presidents than probably anybody else in this room, but she has always been a fierce advocate for the teachers and paraprofessionals of Baltimore City and Maryland, while also working with city schools in a spirit of partnership most times and mutual respect on behalf of the young people and families we serve. I also need to say, in something that probably is not public, Dr. Johnson also mentored me as a wife, and a wife in a high-profile position who did not want to leave this job short of her husband. And she coached me. She is still my husband's favorite in so many ways. She always made sure that when we were out late trying to negotiate after the negotiation, she would turn to me and say, "Girl, you know you need to bring him some food home. You don't walk in that door without food home." And I want you to know, Dr. Johnson, I know the love of your life has passed. The love of my life, we are getting ready to celebrate 25 years in no small part due to that mentorship. So it is my great pleasure to present you, Dr. Loretta Johnson, with this Lifetime Achievement Award in recognition of your outstanding service and dedication to the ideals of public education. And because you once said to me, if you win, our kids win. And this is about making sure that our kids win. Thank you for your service, your mentorship, and just being an amazing friend. I'm going to invite you. Would you like to say something, ma'am, before I call you up? Why don't you press the button so we can hear you? There you go.
I am Mumble. I was born and raised in Baltimore. I'm now 87 years old. And I believe in the public school education here in Baltimore. And although I was a union leader, I was a partnership. That's the way it looked at me. I was mentored by Albert Shanker, and I was pushed into leadership roles that I never thought I'd be in, but I always came home to Baltimore. And I'm so humbled tonight by my hometown, remembering whatever I did to help students. All of my kids and grandkids went to Baltimore City schools. My great-grands are in there now. I have one that has become a principal of the Baltimore City School, Miss Tiffany Williams, sitting here with me. So, as you know, I love the city schools, and I will continue to support and do whatever I can to make them the best schools across the country. And by the way, when I was in leadership, it was the best schools across the country. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Next, it is my privilege to invite someone who needs no introduction to come forward, Ms. Linda Chinia. So I will say this, I have said often, there is no way I would have made it through a once in a generation pandemic without the courage and the leadership of one who is far, far wiser than I am. And she is sitting in front of us today. In her 38-year career at City Schools, Linda Chinia served with distinction as a teacher, a principal, a director of elementary school improvement, area academic officer, and chief academic officer. She was subsequently a member of the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners for 8 years, including her service as board vice chair from 2018 to 19 and board chair from 2019 to 2021. In short, Linda Chinia has done it all. And she did it all in support of her deeply held belief in the values of public education and her unfailing devotion to the students, families, and staff of City Schools. She serves as an inspiration for everyone who cares about the well-being of our young people, but also the well-being and impact of our profession. Linda Chinia is a vital part of the history of education in this city. Whenever I thought something was new, yes, we can clap if you want to clap, Dr. Johnson. Whenever I thought something was new or had not been encountered before, she was the official historian, and she said, well, actually, back in this, and this happened. Linda would tell stories very much like Dr. Johnson, could tell me stories of when you did not see Black women who were able to become principals, who were able to become leaders in education in this city. She has always served with a grace that I have strived to emulate and fallen very short. Linda is cool, she's calm, she is refined. She is what my mother would always say to me, that's what Black teachers used to look like. That's what we used to do. She is a pillar in our community. And whenever, ever I had a question about teaching and learning and needed somebody to help me make sense of something, I knew I could call Linda Chinia. Her family, much of her family is also here with her. She didn't tell me to bring food home like Dr. Johnson, but she modeled what it meant to have balance, to not sacrifice your family because you are in leadership. And I am thrilled to present you, Linda Chinia, with this Lifetime Achievement Award with the deepest thanks for your outstanding service to our students, our schools, and our city.
Wow. First of all, let me say what an honor to be with someone that I look up to, Dr. Loretta Johnson. That's does it all for me tonight. So thank you for that. And like her, I will have to say that as a product of Baltimore City Public Schools from School 115, all the way through to Eastern High School and then off to Towson and back to Baltimore City Schools for 38 years. It has been a joy, a pleasure, a privilege, and an honor. And I'm still in Baltimore City Public Schools because two little ones over here are still students in the school system, and another one is down the road practicing with City College basketball team. So I'm very much involved. It's good to be back. It was always just my aim to do what I was taught to do, and that is to do what was right by the children. The adults would have to just fall in line, but do what was right for the children. And so thank you, those of you who are here tonight, those of you who were here to push me forward, whether here in person or in spirit at this point, those of you who continue to still be around to encourage other folks that are within the system. Thank you for this honor. I do appreciate it, and just thank you. This is great.
I just want to take a chance, an opportunity before the award is given to thank you. So I believe myself and Commissioner Coy are the two commissioners here who've served with Linda on the board, and I'm very thankful for, when I came to the board, it was in the middle of the pandemic. I needed a lot of guidance in terms of getting my sea legs underneath me, and I am extremely thankful for just the mentorship, the friendship, the guidance, the pointing in the right direction, the just helping me make sense of just this awesome responsibility that we have, no matter how you serve on the board, how you serve in the community. That I'm truly thankful for. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a well-deserved honor, Linda. So thank you.
It's wonderful to see you back here. I certainly recall learning from you when I first joined and know just how deep of impact you've had for so long on so many people. And while I have a lot less hair on top than I did when you I pulled some of my hair out of here, I appreciate the wisdom that you imparted, for me personally as well. It's wonderful to see you back here, although I'm sure you enjoy your Tuesday evenings a little more fancy free and on your own time.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Henrietta May you were here a little while. We were together, and also Commissioner Esposito. Yes, so it is good to be back. I have to admit, every once in a while on Tuesdays, I sort of slide by to see how you're doing, but I know you're doing just fine without me. So, but thank you. We were the last graduate. Thank you.
Now we're going to go, now that we gave the families a chance to exit, my final piece of fabulous news that I want to share is concerning 2 audits of city schools financials. Starting with the MSDE, I know everybody's chuckling, like, really, you're going to audits now? But audits are incredibly important. And without clean audits, we don't get to do the business of public schooling for young people. So first, our MSDE monitoring results report relating to their audit of the district's COVID-related grant funds totaling more than $720 million that flowed into city schools. And the audit report states the following: having assessed the information supplied by Baltimore City throughout this process for accuracy and completeness, the Haggerty monitoring team did not find deficiencies. That's right, they did not find deficiencies within either of the three key performance indicators: financial management, cost allowability, and program management. No recommendations or corrective actions were rendered as a result of this monitoring process, and there are no follow-up actions required from Baltimore City. Now, I want to point out, because that's in auditees, and so it's not like your everyday Hallmark card, right, saying nice job. But I want to point out that the statement, no action required, is the highest praise that an auditor can give. So to effectively manage this amount of money while ensuring those resources were spent on impactful investments in our students in the midst of a multi-year pandemic. So it wasn't like we were just all sitting on the fields and this happened. We were trying to do this in the middle of a pandemic. It really is a remarkable accomplishment, and I just want to thank and congratulate Chief Financial Officer Chris Doherty, Marianne Cox, Renee Calvi, as well as Chief Accountability and Achievement Officer Teresa Jones. And I want to especially recognize Dr. Kim Hoffman with thanks for her superb efforts on behalf of our young people. And I am also very proud to announce that for the 14th year in a row, not the fourth, the 14th year in a row, City Schools has received an unmodified opinion for the everyday people, a clean audit, which is the highest level of opinion available of our fiscal year 2025 financial statements. I am very pleased to welcome Bill Early, Erin Davis, and Sarah Specht from the external auditing firm Clifton Larson Allen to briefly summarize their financial statement auditing work for city schools this year. So I will invite CLA for their brief PowerPoint presentation. And I do see you, Bill.
See them there. Hopefully they can unmute.
Yeah, I don't know if you're unmuted.
Well, or can.
Oh, there we go. Can unmute? Oh, they're having difficulty unmuting.
How about we come back to, we'll
That makes sense.
troubleshoot, and then
Yeah.
we'll come back to Clifton Larson L.
That makes sense.
All right,
And because that will be the end of my remarks after they present.
all right.
Okay. I'll turn it back to you.
Oh, did we have PEP this evening?
Oh, do we have PEP? We do? Sorry. Thank you. Sorry, Chief Nielsen. Chair Sally had your back. We'll have Chief Emily Nielsen come forward with this evening's PEP agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Santelizes. Good evening, Board Commissioners. On tonight's PEP agenda if you are on the PEP agenda and you're here in person, if you could rise when I read your name so that we could recognize you. From the Office of the Chief Academic Officer, an appointment recommended that Dana Kraus, currently IEP Team Associate at Academy for College and Career Exploration, be appointed Educational Specialist 2, Specially Designed Instruction, effective December 27th, 2025. An interim appointment from the Office of the Chief Legal Officer recommended that Shahrazad Hatton, currently Senior Counsel in the Office of Legal Counsel, be appointed Acting Director of Litigation, effective December 27th, 2025. And an appointment from the Office of the Chief of Schools recommended that Kenesha Brooks, currently literacy coach at Hazelwood Elementary Middle, be appointed assistant principal at Hazelwood Elementary Middle, effective December 27th, 2025. And recommended that Nadia Johnson, currently teacher elementary at Kip Harmony, be appointed assistant principal at Kip Harmony, effective December 27th, 2025. Congratulations to everyone on tonight's PEP agenda.
Great, thank you, Chief Nielsen. Now I will turn it to you, Chair Sal.
Thank you so much. I'll now review the consent agenda. Board colleagues, please let me know if you would like an item removed, and please state your question for staff. Just want to note items 9.02, 9.03, 9.04, 5, and 6. We are going to pull for just a general statement from Commissioner Coy before we vote this evening. These are all supplemental FY26 supplemental appropriations. Item 12.01, iCivics Incorporated. 12.02, Odell Education LLC. Sure. Do you have a question that you'd like to state for staff?
Yes. Impact that choice. Particularly to
Got it. So the request is for a brief, and we want to underscore brief presentation from the staff on iCivics and its impact in the classroom. 12.02 Odell Education LLC. 12.03 Facing History and Ourselves Incorporated. 16.01 Community Training Assistance Center, CTAC. 18.01 Jackson Lewis PC Legal Services Contract Increase. 18.02 Karpinski, Cornbrooks, and Carp PA Legal Services Contract Increase and Extension.
Can we pull 18.01 and 8.02 together? Simply want to highlight the importance of us looking at the opportunity of bringing some services and increasing our ability, legal abilities in-house.
I will have the Chief Legal Officer speak to those two particular items for 18.01 and 18.02. 19.01 Athletic Supplies and Equipment. I'll now turn it over to the Vice Chair to lead us through public comment.
Thank you. Thank you. We will now move to public comment. Public comment is shared by district recognized groups and the general public. Representatives from our recognized groups will have the opportunity to share public comment first for 5 minutes each. Afterwards, the general public may share. First, we have Zach Taylor representing the Baltimore Teachers Union.
On behalf of the BTU regarding ongoing problems with our district's lack of a comprehensive substitute plan. This may sound like a small operational practice, but has become a significant system-wide governance issue. How City Schools is filling staffing gaps by routinely pulling educators out of their actual jobs to then serve as substitutes. This affects ed associates, special education teachers, ESOL teachers or English language development teachers, literacy coaches, math coaches, and so on. And I'm not talking about the widespread practice of teachers filling gaps during their planning periods. I'm talking about when principals pull teachers and specialists from their normal assignments to fill in for a teacher, often leading to the entire day being diverted from their typical instructional role. And this is taking place with some of our most specialized, highest impact, and often higher compensated veteran staff. and they are serving as a standing substitute pool in too many of our schools. This is a direct hit on the learning environment. When coaches are pulled, coaching doesn't happen. When interventionists are pulled, those interventions don't happen. Same with co-teachers, same with special education services, same with English learning supports. Students who are supposed to be receiving these additional supports or services aren't getting them. This practice has serious legal and compliance risks. Special education services and IEPs aren't discretionary. Likewise, the State Department of Ed has made clear that English learner supports aren't discretionary either. When these staff are reassigned and services are missed, sometimes repeatedly, the district fails to deliver what these students are entitled to receive. The district is sending educators a clear message when they do this. Your job and your job role doesn't actually matter. Your auxiliary staff that we can move around day to day as we so choose. This practice undermines our evaluation system and accountability system as well. Since our district uses student performance as one element of our evaluation component, the overall system, the reassignment of staff outside of their regular assignments injects an unfair district-created variable into the evaluation process. It disrupts the continuity of instruction and the services students are supposed to receive, and it reduces the effectiveness of coaching and intervention work, making it harder for educators to meet student growth expectations that they are then held accountable for. It makes teachers feel like they are being set up to fail. This also extends to the Blueprint for Maryland's Future. As you have seen just yesterday, the AIB voted to warn city schools that we don't yet have what we need for the career ladder. And this could result in city schools losing a significant portion of its funding. So far, when it comes to level 4 roles of the career ladder, which are supposed to be additional supports and instructional leaders, our district has demanded that they also be available for substitute use. BTU has agreed to every aspect of City Schools' proposal, except for this demand that they then be available to sub. This undermines the entire point of the Blueprint's intended purpose for in-classroom leadership. And this is not a minor issue. As I was saying, it could lead to withholding up to 25% of increased funds that are supposed to come to the district. This could be over $20 million. We don't understand why district leaders and district negotiators are willing to risk this money in order to preserve a discretionary coverage practice that undermines the very program it's supposed to fund. When the district routinely strips coaches, special education teachers, English language development teachers from their roles to cover absences, it's not a small detail. It's core to everything that goes on with our school system regarding equitable practices. And it falls squarely within the board's stated governance responsibilities. And we need you to exercise your governance authority. We're asking the board to do what boards do: set guardrails, require transparency, and hold the system accountable. By not limiting substitute use from these permanent staff roles, the district is effectively creating a never-ending pressure release valve that prevents any real system-wide solution. And that's what we need. We need a comprehensive substitute strategy with real investment. The current unlimited internal coverage system doesn't solve our substitute problem. It hides it by shifting the costs onto students, onto compliance services and staff morale. And we need a coherent coverage plan that doesn't cannibalize the instruction and mandated services students depend on. And of course, I'm not just asking you to take my word for it. Do your own investigation. We're going to be bringing this up throughout the year, and we look forward to working with you for a solution. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Dr. Charlene Stewart representing the Parent and Community Advisory Board, PCAP.
Good evening, Chair Sally and Vice Chair Parker and the esteemed board commissioners, Dr. Santelises, and members of the community. My name is Dr. Charlene Stewart, second-year board member of the Parent and Community Advisory Board, otherwise known as PCAP for Baltimore City Public Schools. I was appointed by the CEO of Baltimore City Public Schools to serve in this position. I am also the Charter Advisory Lead for PCAB. I am a proud parent of 3, all who attend Baltimore City Public Schools. And this is my 7th year teaching at the Furman L. Templeton Preparatory Academy. And I am also the BTU Building Representative at Furman. PCAB was established by Maryland law to ensure that parents and the community have a direct voice in shaping the future of Baltimore City Public Schools. Our purpose is to advise the CEO and this board on how families, educators, and community partners can collaborate to help our students succeed. On behalf of our members, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to provide an update. Before I begin today's update, PCAB would like to extend our sincere thanks to Chair Sally for being available at our recent special public meeting to provide a thorough and detailed update on the feedback gathered from community focus group, including students, families, philanthropic partners who perspectives are helping to guide the CEO search process. We appreciate your transparency and your commitment to ensuring that the community voice remains heard throughout this important transition. We are also pleased to share that we recently held another successful special public meeting with Dr. Santelises. During this meeting, Dr. Santelises answered a wide range of questions submitted by families and community members, focusing on critical areas such as special education services, student health and wellness, student conduct and school climate, parent-teacher communication, attendance, funding, art education, school closures, and family support and engagement. As we did last year, PCAB has launched a dedicated website that captured Dr. Santelises' responses to each and every question. This resource is included on our website. It includes a detailed summary as well as an interactive slideshow with timestamps for each individual question, making it easy for families to navigate directly to the topic that matters the most to them. You can find this resource at pcabbaltimore.org, pcabbaltimore.org. We also want to emphasize that we need to hear from you as PCAB continues its discussion with the Maryland Transit Administration regarding student transportation. We currently have a live survey on our website and shared in our newsletter focused on families' experiences and concerns related to student safety during their commute, communication with the MTA and city schools, and how transportation affects attendance. Your insight and perspectives are essential. We value every contribution to this important discussion. Additionally, PCAB is preparing for our January budget forum, where we will engage families in the city budget process and ensure your questions and priorities are represented. If you have any questions or considerations related to the budget, please send them to pcab@bcs.k12.md.us. Finally, please make sure you are connected to our newsletter, which can also be found on our website. It is the best way to stay informed about upcoming meetings, surveys, and engagement opportunities. In closing, our next public meeting will take place Thursday, December 18th at 6:30 p.m. and will be live streamed on YouTube. We invite all families, educators, and community members to join us. Thank you for your time and have a great day.
I was so into it. Next, we have Ms. Sheila Billups representing the Special Education Citizens Advisory Committee, CCAT.
Great good evening to all that's in the room. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Looking forward to our winter break as well. So this is the last time I'll see you this year to present. I come to talk about our next public meeting, which will be held December the 8th, which is next Monday, from 6 to 8 p.m. We are located in the third floor, room 301. Our presenters are Dr. Shanika Herden Johnson, the coordinator for secondary support and transitioning. She's going to give us an overview of the steps that's necessary for the student to successfully transition out of school. The next person will be Susanna Barrios. She's coming from the Disability Rights. She's an outreach specialist, and she's going to talk about the overview of charting the life course. If anyone have any student that's receiving specialized services at Bowman City School, they need to come to this meeting. It is very important that they understand how to chart their life course. It's never too early, but it's always can be too late. Also, we will be having a speaker from Partners for Success, Ms. Kyla Langston. She's going to give us the information that their department have wonderful information for students and for their parents that is in special ed. She has so many resources. You can't miss that. It's going to be a great event. Also, we're going to have Mr. Robert Dagono. It's Morgan Doobie. I'm doing the best I can with the name, but they're gonna come and they want to discuss the challenges of education resource strategies. They want us to know how to maneuver and manipulate within the school system. So it's a power-packed night. I'm looking for you all, some of the commissioners, if you have time available, stop by and see us. I'm looking forward to seeing you all then, and again, have a great holiday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now turn it over to our board office for the general public comment.
Madam Vice Chair, the first is a video from Cyrus Henry. His topic is the state of school bathrooms.
Hello and good morning. My name is Cyrus Henry and I attend Augusta Pell Savage Institute of Visual Arts. I'd like to address an important issue not only affecting my school, but schools across all Baltimore City public schools. Our bathrooms have faced frequent vandalism and students being in there for extended periods of time, which caused the bathrooms to being locked and also affecting the condition and accessibility of our bathrooms. My fellow SGA members and students and I have discussed possible solutions. We believe that increased monitoring of restrooms and targeted consequences for those who repeatedly cause damage or disruption could make a real difference. We also wanted to get to the root cause regarding the students, and a school assembly could be used to gather information and ideas so that the school could provide solutions or assist these students in need. Thank you for listening to my concerns. Sincerely, Cyrus Henry at Augusta Pell Savage Institute of Visual Arts.
The next public comment is a video, and the topic is the state of school bathrooms. And
Oh my
it's
gosh.
Dar Graham.
About the challenges students face with bathroom access at schools. Many restrooms are
Hello, my name is Kadar Graham. I'm currently attending Hamilton Elementary Middle School as an 8th grader, and my school's problems are bathrooms. For example, there are missing doors, doors that won't lock, missing soap and paper towel dispensers, students ripping the stall walls off the doors, urine and feces on the floor and ceiling, profanity written on the doors and walls, and students skipping class, saying they have to go to the bathroom, and preventing other students that have to go to the bathroom using the bathroom. We need solutions. One part of the solutions is for the school community coming together to find our own solutions. This includes students, staff, custodials, all of them. We need to discuss this in a town. We would probably discuss this in our monthly town hall meetings. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because I'd like stricter monitoring rules for students and teachers to follow and maintain the quality of restrooms across the city. You could also purchase an app that tracks the amount of time students spend in the bathroom. And if students spend too much time in the bathroom, they will be flagged on the app. And if the students flagged more than one time, further consequences and support would be implemented.
And the final speaker tonight is, again, this topic is the state of school bathrooms, and it's Chloe Luck Ellis.
Hello, my name is Chloe Luck Ellis, and I attend Parliament Dunbar High School, and I want to speak about the challenges students face with bathroom access at schools. Many restrooms are often locked, which means we have to walk to the first floor or across the building just to find one that's open. This causes students to lose class time and creates frustration where we're told no after waiting or watching others go freely. Sometimes teachers only let one person go at a time, so we have to wait for others to come back even when it's urgent. What needs to happen is simple. Schools should make sure more restrooms are unlocked and monitored, not closed off. There should also be consistent restroom policies so every student is treated fairly and with respect. Having access to a clean, open bathroom is a basic need, not a privilege. I hope the board can make that a priority for all students. Thank you.
That concludes public comment.
I just want to acknowledge that we have several members of the community here from New Song Academy this evening. Typically, we have a sign-up period that we do allow folks to sign up. We will have a COMAR hearing coming up 11 and this month as well as on January 8th for general public comment. But because not all of our slots are filled, we'll allow 2 of you guys to speak this evening who would like to take 3 minutes to provide public comment. Are there any 2 that would like to provide public comment?
Good evening. Thank you to the school commissioners and to Dr. Santelises. On behalf of New Song Community Learning Center, New Song Academy, I'm here along with several of our other team members, understanding that we had a meeting on last Monday, I believe, with some of the school employees, and along with parents and teachers and students, alumni. The reason that we're here tonight is that we do not want to move our kids, our young people, to Harlem Park. We would like to have the opportunity to fix the things that need to be fixed. We understand that you all have taken back the 3 years originally that was given to the school. And so we understand the reason why. That's not our issue or concern. What we would like is for our students to stay at New Song Learning Center, our building. Our parents are already going through, they have, since that meeting, some of them have already put in for transfers because they do not want their children to go to Harlem Park Elementary Middle School. We're in Sandtown, Winchester. Harlem Park is Harlem Park, and there's just this divide. And we realize that the importance for our students, understanding that we've had small classroom sizes, they are comfortable
being where they are. So to uproot them and send them to Holland Park, it has been a lot on parents who have children with disabilities, children who have special needs. And there's no recommendation of providing transportation from where we are because most of our students walk to school. So we have looked at what it would be like if they walked from Gilmore and Pressman all the way down to Holland Park. It's not going to work. And so we're here asking you all to let us stay into our building until school is over, which would be, because we're year-round school, would be July.
Appreciate y'all giving us the opportunity to be here tonight. I also just want to cite just the safety concerns that a lot of parents have expressed. And if you just listen to the students tonight, there's clearly a bathroom problem going across the district. Now, it's been a while since I've been in elementary school, but clearly it's a problem. So to send our children to a building that's probably going to have the same issue, even though the kids, wasn't directly speaking from that school, is problematic. I spoke with Ms. Cohen briefly about the concerns, and I really think that if your job is, priority for the kids, then it needs to be thought about moving these kids to a building that's already housing multiple schools. To cite that New Song is having a problem with their building when you have historically had problems with your buildings for years is kind of hypocritical. Every year, schools are delayed because you have air conditioning problems. Every other year, you have problems with heating for students. So to now cite that New Song problems with the building is if the news reporters haven't been reporting on your budget problems as far as the outdated buildings for years, it's ridiculous. So I look forward to working with, whoever that point of contact would be, but I definitely think we need to think about this because we're moving children who, most of them walk to school. Now, me and you may be fine walking to Harlem Park from Sandtown. A 5-year-old or 8-year-old, most of you wouldn't let your children walk that walk. And unfortunately, most of these parents don't have transportation. So I definitely look forward to working with, whoever that point of contact will be.
Thank you so much for the public comment this evening. We do welcome the entire New Song Academy community back on December 11th and January 8th for additional public comments. We do thank you for that this evening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also give you an opportunity just to talk to the chief of staff who can provide a little bit more insight on just where we are with New Song. So I want to turn over to DeWanda Starrett for any additional public comment that we may have.
That concluded my public comment.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. Before we move forward in the agenda tonight, there's a couple of items that were pulled on the consent agenda. Want to revisit those, so I'm going to start with our supplemental appropriations. It's 0.02. Actually, let me just ask, are there any additional items that the board would like pulled based upon public comment this evening? Hearing none, I'll start with the supplemental. Oh, we'll do them next time. Thank you guys for your patience. So 9.02, 9.03, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to turn over to Commissioner Coy for some general remarks this evening.
Yes, and these items are in relation to various capital improvements. They came to the operations committee where we had a discussion about them, which is why I'm speaking as it relates to these different investments in the infrastructure of city schools. And, my general public comments here are certainly highlighting the historic underfunding of city schools from various sources that, the job that Dr. Washington, Dr. St. Lisa's have done in leading over the past 10 years, investments across the district are, the list is long and noteworthy of the improvements that have been made. I do want to, I guess, specifically speak to one that I know has been of more recent concern and note, which is around locks and doors. There have been numerous comments over the years. I know my fellow commissioners can recall relating to these, and it is, it is beneficial or nice to see the investments that being made here now in various locks and doors. This $15 million that is proposed that we are voting on here is relating to 18 different schools, replacing 1,465 doors to help ensure that those have the beneficial locks and doors for those. I also just, feel to speak to some of the, the history of air conditioning and heating throughout the district. I recall from years ago how widespread, and in the past 2 years, as I recall, we have achieved where all classrooms now have the appropriate air conditioning, the wall units, and those efforts. And just as I think back on the past 10 years. The difference, Dr. Stanley, that you've made in investing in these over that time period, is it's easy to overlook because how much you and the full team have had to stretch every dollar to make things to work. But those investments are pretty monumental, and the number of new schools that you have been able to build, and that we as a district will benefit from for years to come, is truly remarkable. There's still work to do. We are still underfunded, but I just wish to underscore that as we are looking at these supplemental approval. Maybe the last one that I'll lift up by name is the investment in Edmondson with the CT project, and this meaningful investment to improve and to build, one of the additional pieces that's going in here that we talked about in the operations committee is some items relating to the car facilities, the ability to do painting of vehicles at Edmondson West Side, the CT space. Certainly needs some additional space required for that. And that's what these appropriations in part are designed to help enable. So just feeling that there's a lot to celebrate here and fully recognize that there's more work yet to be done.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Coy, and thank you to the operations team and city schools, operations committee and city schools team for reviewing and putting this forward the board this evening. I'd like to turn to item 12.01, iCivics Incorporated, for a brief presentation and questions by Commissioner Mohammed.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome.
Chair Sally, Vice Chair, Dr. Santelises, Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cuppett. I'm the Executive Director for Teaching and Learning here at City Schools, and happy to share some additional information about our work with iCivics. I'm very excited to expand our partnership. iCivics is who we work with on our 8th grade materials. And with shifts in standards and the desire to have high quality materials in our classrooms, we're expanding that to include grades 6, 7, and 10. This is part of a follow-up to the supplemental appropriation that you all approved in October. So thank you very much for supporting that. I think there were questions about, will these materials replace the currently used materials? Was that the question?
So just my insight comes from since then in talking to teachers and principals. One of the things that has been a challenge is sequencing and routines, and the inability using this curriculum that, or I should say the challenges that teachers are having, ensuring that they understand that what impacts are to come from the curriculum and the guidance that this curriculum provides to principals, being helping them to support their teachers in the classroom, just with processing. So there seems to be, at least there's a verbalized gap between what we were doing previously to what we're doing now. And hearing particularly from new principals, working with our teachers, that there is a gap and it's highlighted in the way that the curriculum is being sequenced and just the day-to-day knowledge base that teachers are aware of what they're going to be doing or the impact they're going to be having week to week.
So that's that, having done this for a little while, that sounds like some of the typical feedback we'll get in a new implementation. I assume you're talking about what was occurring in 8th grade with the new materials. I know our team is collecting feedback in a methodical way. We've started to receive some of that feedback. Anything that we collect in our feedback related to 8th grade, we'll certainly work with iCivics to try to pave that road more smoothly if in fact there are some challenges associated with the things that you're hearing. As far as supporting school leaders, that's something we could have conversations with our schools office about, like what are some of the tools. We have a lot of opportunities through the year to work with school leaders. There's a lot of things on their agendas and on their plates. But certainly making sure that they feel equipped to implement this with their teachers is an important part of that. I know we do that, and I've seen it in my short tenure here, the support that we try to provide to principals so they can in turn support their teachers. So that's important feedback for us. We'll look and see what we get more methodically when we pull in the 8th grade information and what we're hearing from teachers. And then an additional step that I'm not sure if we have planned, but we might want to consider is getting feedback directly from our school principals about their position in the space of this work and what information and insight that they could provide as well. So we'll be happy to do that.
I appreciate the insight. I think one of the things I would definitely be interested in is hearing rather than waiting for another update, because this is an issue that we're rising tonight and has come as a concern from particularly new principals. Being able to hear that feedback and understanding the impact that this is having with regards to outcomes with our students, and be able to compare what it looks like to roll out a curriculum, because we have other curriculums that we've rolled out that are doing excellent. And there are some curriculums that that may get there or may not get there, but we want to know sooner than later. So at what point can we expect some insight on the impact of this curriculum to ensure that it's actually meeting the needs of our students similar to us?
Yeah, so I don't think I can give you an exact date, but we can certainly work quickly to find what are the communication mediums we have to get feedback from teachers. Teachers aren't always super excited about receiving another survey. So we'd have to be cautious about that. We do have some system-wide professional learning days coming up that we would have teachers there and available. That might be a prime opportunity to work with our teachers who teach this 8th grade material to be able to provide some feedback. I'm sure that our team would be able to put that together. I don't know the date of the system-wide PL rate off the top of my head, but I think it's in February, right? I think it's in February. So once we would compile that and turn that around, we should be able to get something back in the following weeks from there.
I appreciate your collaborative approach. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Commissioner Mohammed, the other piece that I will also add is, given your notation of your conversations with new principals, I think what we can do is also work to make sure that in our new principal PD and support, it's not surprising that new leaders would have challenges with curriculum implementation. It is something that requires a different level of leadership and management. So I think part of the benefit of the work we now have in place for new principal support, I'm looking at both Dr. Durant as well as Deputy Moore, and we can also make sure that we follow up specifically with newer principals, given you mentioned them directly.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'd now like to invite the Chief Legal Officer up for a question from Commissioner Mohammed on 18.01 and 18.02. I will note for board commissioners and the public, that Chief Simmons will have an information item for discussion that will also address capacity building and work that the Office of Chief Legal Officer is doing to support all the work here at City Schools.
Thank you, and thank you for making that connection. I was going to make it as well. So thank you for flagging, and one of the important things that we constantly try to balance is the best management of scarce legal resources to address the various different filings we have, litigation, contract review, responses to MPIAs, the whole gamut, and balancing what we can do productively in-house, making sure that we can have a robust docket for our in-house lawyers, but not burn out the talented folks we have there, because we need them for the long haul, not just for the sprint. And so that's why, one of the reasons why we use outside counsel. Another reason why we use outside counsel is for particular expertise, or to force multiply when we have a particular high volume, intense set of cases. And so ideally, we're using outside counsel in situations where we don't anticipate having a long standing needs, but that balance, I appreciate the question, and we're continuing to monitor the appropriate balance of those two pieces. I also think that one really great way we've used outside counsel recently is to build skills of inside counsel, so then inside counsel can take on and move that work forward. So it's almost like a built-in professional learning as well, but commitment to continue to monitor that to make sure that resources are being spent as wisely as possible.
I appreciate the insight. I think that the decision that we are making to rely on specialized counsel is appropriate. I think that when it's necessary, it's needed, and we should do that. I think that when I look at the contracts, they include ADA compliance, student discipline, employment disputes, and general education litigation. I would like to see or have more conversation about, when we look at those, which one of those domains can we bring in-house? Because we're spending a lot of dollars outside, and because of the dollars we're spending outside, I think it gives us an opportunity to really go out and find where are we spending those dollars, and let's find a specialist to bring in-house. I would really like to be able to save the district dollars by ensuring that we have the strongest legal team here at City Schools that we can have. And it seems as if right now there is a necessity for us to scale our ability. And I'm hearing what you raised. I'm glad to hear that some of that work is on the way, but I want to raise that as a concern. And with that, thank you.
And I just want to echo my aspiration. My aspiration is to have our legal team known as the strongest, if not one of the strongest, public sector, actually law firms anywhere in the state of Maryland, if not the region, if not the nation. So that's my hope, and music to my ears to figure out ways to strengthen and continue to strengthen. And I think it is a strong legal team, and what you're saying will be music to the ears of the team as well. Thank you.
And I'll also just flag for upcoming budget discussions that the board will need to, not just this year, but I think moving forward also to review sector analysis for legal costs, because part of the other reason that we often go to specialization is because frankly, we cannot afford the market price for many lawyers. I say often, Josh Sivan continues to work here despite being recruited nationally out of love for the city, certainly not for the salary. So I think one of the things that the board, long after I am gone, will get a chance to deliberate within budget discussions is the extent to which this board is willing to match market price, which we currently cannot do. So I won't be here with you for that discussion, but I do think as the board reviews the budget, which we know is a major part of your work, that you do that in light of what the market is for the going rates of those legal specializations, if you decide to bring them on internally.
I know it's a fine line between managing the costs associated with specialized items versus making sure we have deep expertise, as Commissioner Mohammed is highlighting, in certain areas that allow us to fulfill our legal and fiduciary responsibilities. Given that there are no additional items that were pulled on tonight's consent agenda, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved, Esposito.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Slater Harrington. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Coit.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay, stepped away. Commissioner Mohammed.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Redding Wallinger.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Slater Harrington.
Yeah.
Thank you, and I'm in favor. This motion passes. I'm now going to turn it back over to Dr. Santelises to lead us through the Clifton Larson Allen presentation.
Thank you, Chair Sally, for reminding me that I'm not done yet for the evening. I forgot. So we're going to have our folks, and I see Bill Early with us. And I will turn over to you to give the board and our public a fuller picture of your most recent audit. So I will turn it over to you, and thank you all for your patience as well. Both the board and Bill and you and your team at Clifton Larson Allen with our sound. I think we are okay now, so let's give it a whirl.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, there we go. So we have a brief presentation. I think I can go ahead and share my screen, unless they were going to pull it up there, but I can share. Hopefully this one works too. There we go. So going over the agenda, as Dr. Sinsley said, it was a clean, what we call an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. I'm going to go through a little bit of information about those. We'll talk about the scope, the opinions, and then go over some insights. We do issue our independent auditors report. The financial statements of the city are responsibility of the city management, the city schools management, and the finance team. I would be regressive if I did not thank Chris, Mary Ann, and Eris and their team for all the hard work they've done this year. Several school districts, as we continue to move forward, are struggling with the not only necessarily getting unmodified opinions, which most of them do still, but issuing that September 30th deadline. They're doing that while they're also going through and doing their daily job. So it is a great undertaking, and they do a remarkable job of getting it issued to MSDE on time, because that becomes a challenge each year with delays from actuaries and information that's required from the city. With that said, we've also we do a risk-based audit approach, unlike MSDE's audit, which it sounds like you got a very good audit from them as well. But we do a risk-based approach. We don't look at every dollar that is spent, but we kind of sit there. We use materiality thresholds. Where do we see the higher risk areas? We look at internal controls, and we are required to look at any significant estimates that you use in your financial statements. As I mentioned on the financial statements, the auditor's opinion was unmodified. We issued on September 29th, one day before it was due to MSDE. We also issue our report on internal controls, and I'm happy to report the schools had no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies noted again this year. The single audit, which is the audit of the schedule of federal awards and the federal dollars received from the state and from the federal government, that is still in process. Typically, that is due 12/31 to MSDE. However, there has been a delay in the compliance supplement. It's usually out in March or April of every year. This year, OMB, with everything going on in the federal shutdown, they just issued it the day before Thanksgiving. It came out. MSD has granted extensions to March 31st. So we're in the process. Those programs being audited are Child Nutrition Cluster and the IDEA Cluster. So we'll be working through those as we go. We did have some management letter comments. These are typically best practices or things that are not material to the financial statements that we do bring to management's attention as we go through our audit. There was various oral comments regarding some IT general controls and application controls that we discussed with the IT team. And then from a financial standpoint, there were some transactions and accounts that management is aware are older and need to be looked at in further detail to determine what we need to do with those balances. So they're looking into those, several of which they were aware of. But again, they're not material to financial statements, so we did not have to issue any kind of material weakness or anything regarding those. Required communication to the commissioners. We did issue a separate letter requiring our governance communication. We do want to say that our audit is to obtain reasonable and not absolute assurance about the financial statements being free from material misstatements. We do assess the accounting principles that are in the financial statements. Again, the financial statements are prepared by management and they are their responsibility. We do evaluate them for their overall financial statement presentation. As I mentioned, there was an unmodified opinion. There were 2 new GASBs that went in place this year. Those are the Government Accounting Standards Board accounting policies. Those were 101 and 102, which I'll touch on. Estimates we had were incurred but not reported claims for self-insured health insurance, and compensated absences was new this year, mainly because it was a new GASB that was implemented. We did have 2 what we call past adjusting journal entries that we reported. One was related to expenditures that were for FY25 that were not accrued due to the timing when the invoices came in and getting the financial statements done by 9:30 to go to MSDE, and they were not material financial statements. And then with the implementation of the new Standard 101, because it was not material, management chose to run the impact of that through the current year rather than restating the prior year. There was no corrected misstatements that we need to discuss, no disagreements with management, and management did not consult with other accountants regarding our audit. As I mentioned, we had 2 new GASB standards this year. One required the adjustment for how the liability for compensated absences, sick and vacation leave was calculated. That had no material impact. And then there were certain risk disclosures if you had a triggering event, which you did not have any that qualified. Next year, there will be another one, GASB 103, that we'll be working with the team on implementing that would have an impact, especially on the MD&A for the school's financial report. And then 104 will also be there. We'll be working with them on that. With that said, I'll answer any questions, but again, an overall unmodified opinion. I want to again thank the finance team for all their efforts and their hard work that they do every year for us, and be able to issue by 9:30 each year and comply with the MSD's Code 1 requirements. So any questions?
I'll open up to my board colleagues for any questions regarding our audit. Hearing none. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Not so much a question, just a comment. I know I've said this in years past, but congrats to the team and just the hard work of the full finance team and responding in such a unbelievable short time period. For the size of the budget, the complexity of the accounting, it still baffles me how fast of a turnaround is required. And I know that's by law, but just the work that goes into that, and the fact that, as you highlighted, Dr. S, 14 years of clean audits is to be celebrated and shouted from the rooftops, as it were. For how much that represents of just sound fiscal management. There's challenges as you highlight, but how you are managing the resources is to be commended.
Right. Thank you so much, Chris Doherty and team. Thank you so much, Bill, for the presentation this evening. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bill.
Right. We'll now turn to the Chief Legal Officer, Josh Sibbon, for a presentation on risk management, policy GBEH, legal representation.
Thank you, and I'm joined by Assistant Counsel Caitlin Barnes as well. So we're here to talk about, as previewed before, board policy GBEH, which is the policy that's about legal representation. And really, as we get up the slides, the purpose of these regulations are to incorporate board rules as part of that project, to retire board rules, and also to update. So we have one place for employees, for board members to refer to about what legal protections they have, and then also to set out the board's overall approach through the Office of Legal Counsel and otherwise to legal representation for the many different types of cases it gets. Board priorities on this slide, then moving on to the next slide, just an overview of the various areas that the policy touches, management of legal services, duty of representation, and the various pieces of legal process. Then you'll see the mission here, and I think that this goes to Commissioner Mohammed's questions earlier about just trying to emphasize that our approach is really one to try to be cost effective, but also to be focused on proactive problem solving. I think that's what's really important about what the Office of Legal Counsel tries to do is not just to wait till things come to us as problems, but really to be in there as partners with offices to try to improve and connect all those improvements ultimately to strategic decision making to promote equity and excellence for all students. So just an overview of representation. So under state law, and then it's also reflected in the policy, the duty to provide legal representation to the board as a whole supersedes the duty to any individual board member, employee, or volunteer. But we do under the statute have a duty to provide legal representation in certain circumstances to individual employees, or if there's a conflict between the board's interests and the employee's interests, to get conflict counsel for them, which we do and hire and ensure that they're represented. We also have an obligation, or the board broadly system, to provide and pay for judgments in certain circumstances to employees if they're acting within the scope of their employment and without malice or gross negligence. And really, all of these provisions are set forth in law, but we've been trying to create in one place. So as I said, so employees can really understand what are those pieces, because as we all know, when someone files a lawsuit and it's required to defend, that is a super concerning, as it goes without saying, for an employee to have to deal with that. And we really want to, and we want to make sure that we're supporting people through the process. One of the most rewarding experiences I have is when recently a principal came up to me and said, I really felt like my staff was supported through the process of doing depositions, through the process of going through a case. And that's really a testament to that careful and supportive work we do with our work in Office of Legal Counsel. So as I said before, we're adding in some provisions of law and addressing board rules, and we'll go through each of these pieces as well. One of the provisions of board rules that we had part of it incorporated, but we've gone to incorporate the entire piece is, and we use the term board employees here, it's a little bit stilted, but it basically means city schools employee. If you're injured, taking preventive action, intervening in a fight, that the statute requires that employees get necessary medical expenses as long as the degree of force is reasonably necessary to deal with the circumstances. So that's an important protection. It's in Maryland Code. It was in the board rules. We're now incorporating it into this broader policy. In addition, there have been recent changes to Maryland law in terms of protecting employees of school districts for a variety of pieces, clarifying that employees are immune for reporting to a school official or a parent that students under the influence or of a dangerous substance. I actually wish that I knew what was the case that brought this up, but it's now a part of law, so we wanted to incorporate it into the policy. And then also highlight other provisions of law that says that there's protection for employees making good faith reports of child abuse, anaphylaxis, administrating actually medical marijuana in certain circumstances, and there's a whole law on that too, but just putting that in one place so that employees know those pieces, and the policy goes into much more detail on those. Then another important revision to the law is that an employee or a superintendent who participates in an employee discipline process is immune from civil liability if that's within the scope of their employment. Also, staff who intervene in an altercation between students are also immune in certain circumstances for liability. Those are both protections that are put in and safeguard employees taking reasonable steps. It's not blanket immunity, but it's important to have it in there. I think it's been important in some cases, but it's important actually in that situation when staff take the risky step of intervening, and obviously we need to train them, making sure that they will and protecting them if they do, and the effort of the intervention is reasonable, it's not grossly or willfully or intentionally tortious conduct. That would then be a staff investigation and employee discipline, but just having that protection there. And then there are some provisions we've updated to just clarify that we really want subpoenas. There was a time when we left schools on their own to deal with subpoenas, and I'm really pleased that we now have the resources and we've invested in those resources so that we're now directing schools to send subpoenas to our office, as long as it's involving their work activities, not their own personal life. Send the subpoena to our office and we will handle it. That often means that we have to work with the employee to handle it, but we're going to handle it. It's a legal document. It's really important that we make sure, sometimes we have to oppose the subpoena about our office, but that has to come to us in order for us to know it and deal with it. And then also clarifying that if a subpoena or a lawsuit is served, we can tell law firms that we will accept service for board members, for the CEO, for members of the CEO's cabinet, for senior leadership. So those subpoenas don't have to go and interrupt you all or those folks at their individual houses or places of business, which has happened in the past. This policy tries to make that really clear. So then we can go to law firms that say, well, I served that. Well, you can bring that to us and we'll accept it. For other employees, we're absolutely willing to accept service at our office, but we don't presume that. Typically, employees do, and we often arrange for that because they don't want a subpoena process server coming to their school. But sometimes employees do want that, but we'll work with them on that. And really, it's an effort to take that out of having that happen at a workplace. And then this is a piece also that goes to what Commissioner Mohammed and I were talking about earlier. There was a board rule on risk management, emphasizing that we participate in Baltimore City's pooled self-insurance fund, consistent with Maryland law. That actually goes all the way back to the 90s when city schools separated from the city. And that the City of Baltimore Central Bureau of Investigation is responsible for any claims adjustment for our claims, but we also are carefully attuned in city schools to opportunities to reduce risk. Another important function that we take on is when we get a lawsuit, whether we win or lose, we're looking for areas to improve our practice, and we make a point of debriefing on those cases. When they're significant cases with the office involved, to think about what are the lessons learned, how do cases on playgrounds maybe diagnose, which operations has done a wonderful job recently, that we need to be attuned to having our playground equipment all be up to standards of care and moving forward with those types of pieces as well. And then so stakeholder engagement, and we did that. We've shared drafts and with a number of groups. We also did presentations, and the only substantive feedback we got on the next page was from PCAB, which gave us a thumbs up for the proposed revisions. So we're continuing. We have a couple more presentations that we'll do between now and then, but so far seem to be on a good path with stakeholder feedback and appreciation there. That's it, I think. Open up for questions.
Turn over to board colleagues for any questions this evening. Hearing none, I'd like to thank Chief Legal Office for the work and for the Policy Committee's review.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back. We'll see you back for second reader. All right, I just want to check with our board office. Did we cover all the items? I know we jumped around just a little bit this evening.
We have covered everything.
Great. Before we adjourn for the evening, just want to make sure there is or may or may not be anything our board colleagues would like to lift up before we adjourn. That will be next. Great. Thank you so much. Okay, so our notice of upcoming meetings. I just want to remind the public what we highlighted at the top this evening is the board work session will be virtual this Thursday at 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. and that will focus on operator renewal. Our Teaching and Learning Committee will meet on Tuesday, December 9th from 3:30 to 5:30. That will also be virtual. Our next public board meeting will be held on December 16th in person. And I just want to go back. We will be having a COMAR hearing on December 11th here in this room. Our Safety and Wholeness Committee meeting will be December 17th. That will be virtual from 4 to 5:30. And our Operations Committee meeting will be held December 22nd from 10:30 to 12:15 p.m. And then wrapping up the end of the year is Policy Committee, December 22nd, 4 to 5:30 p.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Esposito.
Is there a second?
Second, Ames Messenger.
Thank you. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.